Ya Baraka,
Ya Baraka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
YHWH,
YHWH,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
YHWH, Panyawa al Yak,
Panyawa al Yak,
Yachanka,
Yachanka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yasha'ayahwa, Panyawa al Yak,
Panyawa al Yak,
Yasham,
Yasham,
Laka Shalom,
Laka Shalom,
YHWH Bahasham,
YHWH Bahasham,
YHWH,
YHWH,
Barak Rapah,
Barak Rapah,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
YHWH Bahasham,
YHWH Bahasham,
YHWH,
YHWH,
Barak Rapah,
Barak Rapah,
YASHARAHLA,
YASHARAHLA.
Ya Baraka,
Ya Baraka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Wake up, niggas. Get dressed to impress for the royal ceremony. The one and only rose up out the ashes of Babylon. Yo,
Boom, bow, another empty shell when hot brown lynch fill the gut of the slums with cops gunned down. Another brown boy on the ground, yellow tape brown, no crown, but not a lost sheep. It's been found as craze round these ways, scuffed Timbs, fresh fade, switchblades in every block. Nigga, you smell haze, hell rage, fish on the corners where the sinner stays. Last days, we in the prophecies of the last page. And one day we gon' be kings, they gon' be slaves. Mansions on mansions, gold streets that they paid. Tribes up, if you don't bow down, get lined up to the king of kings. When he come, you all fuck. No war, no suffering, no phantom. The things that come in the new world we can't fathom. Paradise, couple Eves, one Adam. No more fighting and bickering with your dragon.
the people always making noise.
Yeah, they think we bluffing.
Posted up with them boys.
They think we came from nothing.
And we the real McCall.
Death before dishonor. The rotten apple left for seed rose up to a power.
The people always making noise.
Yeah, they think we bluffing.
Posted up with them boys.
They think we came from nothing.
And we the real McCall.
Death before dishonor. The rotten apple left for seed rose up to a power. Just the prince who won his pitch, returning to his throne. Spitting image out of Shem who found his royal robe. Peculiar nation on my limp like a broken bone. Purple drink benevolent and the grape is overflowed. We bow our heads to the great king of Jerusalem. So to the ghettos of the hall where we losing sons. Speckled birds from them curbs, the peculiar ones. Stay the praise to the east, don't let them move a tongue. Kill Illuminati, cross the body, 12 gauge shotty. The government's one is dead, the prophecy they find me. Trapped up in the tri-state, bruise around me. Them police only swam, I think they blew our money. I want the palm trees again, chariots and linen. Ruby charms down the arm, holy feasting women. Strumming harps, bongos, new era dripping. My emerald in the crown, be your new religion.
People always making noise.
Yeah, they think we bluffing.
Posted up with them boys.
They think we came from nothing.
And we the real McCall.
Death before dishonor. The rotten apple left for seed rose up to a power.
The people always making noise.
Yeah, they think we bluffing.
Posted up with them boys.
They think we came from nothing.
And we the real McCall.
Death before dishonor. The rotten apple left for seed rose up to a power. Rose up to a power. Saw them bruise all day. I know what time it is. The one and only. YHWH, YHWH. And therefore we cast our crowns. And to the mother, your son's back in town. Them boys back around.
Ayo Shalom. Ayo Shalom. Ayo Shalom. Ayo Shalom.
Right. Wow, these are goggles. Testing, testing.
Shalom, shalom to everyone.
Testing, testing. Shalom, shalom to everyone. Testing, testing. Shalom, shalom. Why is it so bad?
How did
Let's see ones in the chat. Y'all can hear me loud and clear before I start. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties. Hey, yo, shalom. One in the chat, please. One in the chat.
No, it's good,
Thank
man.
you. None, shalom, brother.
AHLAHAYANAWA, shalom.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'll take that off. All right, ready? All right, so last class that I taught is about anger, right? And, how anger is pretty much a normal behavior, a normal emotion that we have as men and women. Shalom, Ganan. And, just a basic overview on anger. Again, I spoke on how I've dealt with anger before, and I still do. And I'm still in the process of healing, still in the process of learning how to process anger at times. So it's completely normal. There's no real shaming when it comes to being real with yourself. There's really nothing that you should be ashamed of if you're real with yourself. That's pretty much it. So last class that Captain Shamak spoke on, it's funny that he taught on Joseph, and he spoke on how Joseph lived his life, got to a certain point in his life when he was in Egypt. He was sold off by his brothers, and then he eventually sees his brothers. So let's go to Genesis 42, and let's start off there. Let's see. Let's start off where Joseph talks to them in a rough manner, if we could. Genesis 42, I believe, right? Let's see. (42 and 6).
Oh, yeah. This is Genesis. This is Genesis chapter 42 and verse 6.
Right.
And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth.
Right. Go ahead.
And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food.
So the situation with their brothers, right? He knew that that was his brothers that just did him dirty, right? A few years back, he knew that was his. He knew that these are the people who sold him off and put him through all these things. Some of the things that Joseph went through, being in prison, being accused of rape, he had to go through a lot of things with the with the aftermath of what his brothers did to him, and that made him angry, right? And when I was reading this story, I was like, did anybody really even check Joseph for what he did to his brother, like in revenge?
Yep.
Right, because he did imprison them. He accused them of being spies. Right, he kept Simeon bound for some extra time. Right. So did anybody really check Joseph here? Right. And I was like, Joseph, nobody really checked Joseph, but sometimes the Most High don't need to check you. He tests you. Right. So
We back. All right.
All right, one in the chat, please. Again, Salakia. One in the chat. One in the chat. Is the mic on in here?
Yep. Okay.
The water. All right, so where was I at? So Joseph eventually, let's go to Genesis 50 and 19. Yep. Go to 21. Because even after all that he went through and all the things that his brothers did to him, this is what he did at the end of it all. Go ahead.
This is Genesis chapter 50 and verse 19. And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for am I in the place of God? But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive.
Right. So he said, I'm not in no place of high importance in my mind. I don't think I am God. Neither am I close to God. I am no one to be mad that this actual thing that was brought about, this situation where you guys did this thing to me, you guys sold me off and did all these things, and I had to go through what I went through. And regardless of all that, it meant out to bring good, and it saved lives. Sometimes when that's basically the end result of, and that's the peace that you want to find at the end when you're dealing with something that makes you angry, right? So just wanted to touch on that, and I thought it was very powerful that, like, again, Joseph wasn't ever checked on his anger, but he was tested, and he obviously showed love towards his brothers and mercy, and he forgave them, and he said he was going to take care of him and his family. So let's switch gears here, still on the same topic. So what is repressed anger? And so I've been listening to a book called When the Body Says No by Dr. Gabaryam. He's a physician, and again, he pretty much goes into breaking down how when you repress your anger, right, when you don't process or deal with your anger in the right way or at all, what happens to your body is your body starts to speak for you. Your body starts to build illnesses. Your body starts to bring out, it starts to be at, at disharmony. And this book, I thought it was pretty interesting. I just started it, but it caught my attention because there's a new concept, of today, how people deal with things, i.e. pharmaceutical ways. One of the good examples that he gave was, if you ever see a person with a service dog, right? And that service dog would know when the person is getting anxious, but the person doesn't even know how to deal with it, or even know that they are getting anxious. So this is what the new medical world has come to. We have come to where animals can recognize when a person's having an anxiety attack, but that person itself don't know how to actually deal with it. So I'll give you guys a quote from the book that he said, suppressing anger disconnects you from your authentic self. Self-denial affects your body. When we suppress or repress our emotions, especially anger, we poison ourselves. All right? So let's think about that. How does holding on to anger poison you? Anybody want to take a stab at it? How does repressing anger poison you.
You definitely whatever's repressed, you act it out in different ways.
Right? That's one of the things he's talked about. He talks about passive aggressiveness. Your body, causes health problems. Yep, we're gonna go into that. Definitely causes a lot of health problems. Another thing that I'll say too is that Dr. Gabaryam, he found that about 80% of his patients that develop any kind of autoimmune disease or any kind of cancer have dealt with anger, like situations with anger where their parents divorced, where they lost a parent, and he basically understands that that when you're medicated and all that stuff, it kind of helps disassociate your emotions from your mind, which could be brutal. But we'll go into that. I just want to see what people got to say. Right, Ganan, you definitely will see physical symptoms, emotional changes, right, and behavior patterns. Yep, everything has to flow out, let's press down, and we'll find a way out. Right, I was going to talk about that next. God, good answers, family, good answers. So, like, that's a good analogy, Ganan, where you say that, when you're pushing down, it's like pushing down on a volcano, not knowing at any moment it will erupt. That's some of the things that does happen. Those things, when you're repressing your anger, more than likely people are people pleasing. They like boundaries. Their outbursts, they'll outburst and get triggered real fast. These are the signs that somebody's been repressing anger, right? Chronic tension and stress. Tension and stress. That word stress is going to be said a lot next too. So basically what happens when your body just does this holding off on how to process anger, what it does is it brings it into the subconscious realm, right? Into your mind, through your spirit. And it keeps it there, and it keeps it there as a threat. It keeps it there like a memory, right? And then when it keeps it there like a memory, what your body does is it becomes deregulated on how it uses cortisol. Does anybody know what cortisol is? I'm going to go there. I'm going to say it again. So from something outside happening to you, right, that makes you angry, right? Let's take Joseph, for example. If he's never dealt with that, do you understand the stress, like the stress that it causes to your mind and your body when you hold on to something? Cortisol is what goes down, sleep, goes up, and have energy. Yep. It's a steroid hormone.
Oh.
Yep. So I'll read the notes that I took from the book. All right, cortisol is your primary stress hormone. It regulates inflammation, blood sugar, blood pressure, sleep patterns, energy, weight, and metabolism. So imagine something making you so angry that you hold on to it, and then after you hold on to that anger and don't deal with it properly, you hold on to that, your body stays with that, and it becomes at a stage and a point where it's like, I gotta use this stress hormone to calm myself down because there's a threat that probably doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
But your body is still affected by it. Right? What then that stress does is, again, it affects your blood sugar, blood pressure, metabolism, sleep patterns. Now your body is really at a dis-ease, right? It's a disharmony. So from your body being at dis-ease or disharmony, you start to develop things like cancer, diabetes, ALS, high blood pressure, right? Lack of energy. For men, it attacks your hormones. For women, it attacks your hormones, right? Men, you need testosterone. Well, it attacks that and it regulates it, throws it off. So now your hormones are being thrown off. So guess what else is happening? If even up to your hormones are being stressed, your nervous system is being affected.
Right.
So now everything that makes you alive, everything that makes your body a functioning body is being attacked by your own self holding on to something that has passed already. Right? It can cause inflammation in the body. That's a curse. That's a curse that we unfortunately obtained, right? I believe it's Deuteronomy 28 and 22, I believe. Right, so I'll just read some of the notes that I just took. Again, I'm not a doctor or a psychiatrist or whatever the case may be. This is just what I'm taking from the book and understanding and paralleling it to the Bible, right? So go ahead and read that on Deuteronomy 28.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 22.
Go ahead.
The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption and with a fever.
Right.
And with an inflammation.
With an inflammation, right? Literally an inflammation of our bodies, right? He said that he was gonna make us mad, have us astonished in our hearts. He said all these things were gonna happen to us, and we're seeing it right before our eyes, right? Just think about what we've been through as a people, how it makes us angry, right? Because oppression makes a wise man mad. So just think about all those things. But more on a personal level, right? Let me just read some of these notes from the book. When your anger is repressed and not expressed or processed properly, the brain doesn't recognize a resolution, so it keeps it in a state of threat. It puts it in the subconscious realm, i.e. your spirit, right? i.e. your body, right? It causes constant actuation of the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, right? Continuous release of cortisol. Nervous system never returns to their normal state. Destabilizes hormonal balances, increases fat storage, disrupts sleep, digestion, and metabolism. All these things that are all being caused all because of you holding on to anger, right? Let's get Ephesians 4 and 26. All right, these are the things that we don't see when we hold on to when somebody does us wrong. When we're grudging, we don't see these things because it's happening subconsciously. Subconsciously, you're still mad at what your husband did or what your wife did 2 weeks ago, and that just what's going to happen. You're going to eventually, your body's going to start feeling the effects of it. Your body's going to start to show symptoms and behaviors that show that you're still holding on to anger, right? Let's get Ephesians 4 and 26.
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 26.
Go ahead.
Be ye angry and sin not.
See, be ye angry. It's okay to be angry, but what?
But sin not.
Sin not. Go ahead.
Let the sun Salat, let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
Right. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Go ahead.
Neither give place to the devil.
Neither give place to the devil. Why is that? Why not give place to the devil? Why does it say be angry and sin not? And let not the sun go down upon that wrath. And don't get room to the devil. Yep, that's correct. I'll read it. Too much anger, I believe you meant to say, can cloud your discernment, making wrong decisions irrationally. Right? So when you're angry, when you're when you allow your anger to drive you to places and drive you to commit certain actions and certain behaviors, just like Cain was, right? Cain was a murderer, but he was angry at what? At Abel.
Right.
Right. So that anger can drive you to sin, literally. It can give place to the devil to have you be a sinful person. Right. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 3:16. So now that I gave a good brief, kind of a summary on that book and all the effects of what it has in your body, how much will we take? How crucial is it that we understand that defiling ourselves isn't just outwardly, right? It's also inwardly. It is also of the spirit that you can defile yourself into. All right, let's get 1 Corinthians 3:16.
Oh. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God,
right?
And that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you.
Right. So know ye not that you are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwells in you. The Spirit of God cannot dwell in a sinful, defiled body. The Spirit of God cannot. The Spirit of wisdom can't even enter the body of somebody who's defiled. Right? So this is the importance of understanding that we have to get to a point where we understand anger, understand how to deal with it, how to process it, and how it affects us. Really should motivate you to get to a point where you know how to emotionally guide yourself to peace and healing. All right. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 7:1.
Second Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
Having therefore these promises, dearly beloved,
Yep.
let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit.
See, let us cleanse ourselves from the filthiness of our flesh and our spirit. Right? It's not. There can't be a hyper focus on what's on the outside, right? What laws do I keep? What foods I don't eat, right? We have to really put a hyper focus on what's happening to us inwardly, because some of these things, like the Bible doesn't directly tell you that anger causes you to get ALS. The Bible doesn't directly teach us this, right? But we have to take this as the foundation and look, at study doctors and what they say, and what's true and what's false. That's really what comes down to. When I read this book, most of it made sense to me because I understand the Bible. I understand that, it's important that we also understand that our spirits can be defiled and can be, in a sense, nasty, can be dirty, right? So Paul tells us that our temple is where the Most High Spirit dwells, right? He also says that let us cleanse ourselves from the filthiness of the flesh and the spirit, right? So and so much as you clean yourself, right? Right, as a holy people that we are, as these laws make us and these statutes and commandments, also the groundwork has to be done, and we have to look inwardly and see what's actually wrong with us, right? So let's go to Hebrews 4:12.
This is Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12.
Go ahead.
For the word of God is quick and powerful,
Yep.
and sharper than any two-edged sword,
Go ahead.
piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit,
Of the soul and the spirit. Go ahead.
and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
Right. So this word obviously does that. This word is so sharp, and this word is meant for healing, right? It's meant for corrections. It's meant for encouragement, and this word would help you and guide you to heal you to a place where you can be the best version of yourself, to be the most clean version, the most healed version of yourself can only come through this word, power of this word. And we have to obviously examine ourselves, right? We have to look inwardly. At times it might look ugly in there, but we have to look inwardly. We have to do the groundwork. We have to do the meditations, right? We have to do the confessing, right? We have to do all these things that would help us understand and see what is the Most High trying to see in me, right? I watched a video a couple of days ago, and it said the lady was basically saying that the Most High tests his people by putting us through what? Through the furnace
Of adversity.
of adversity, right? And how does somebody what's the name of a person that does that, or like a goldsmith, a refiner,
Blacksmith.
a blacksmith, right? So when they're burning up this gold, when they're trying to refine gold, right? They have to sit there and watch. And what they watch for is they watch for all the impurities to be burnt out, right? And then the lady asked the guy, well, how do you know that it's unpure, right? And the guy said, simply, when I see my reflection. And I thought, wow, the Most High really puts us through the fire to take out all these impurities until he sees his reflection in us.
Huh.
But we have to learn how to let some of these things go. Some of these impurities that we have, right, is just simply holding on to things of the past, holding on to stuff that made us mad, whether it was your parents, your father, your mother, right? Whether it was your brother who did you dirty, you know, or your sister who left you behind and treated you a certain way through high school, whatever the case may be. We have to let some of those things go, but more importantly, know how to actually deal with them, know how to actually talk about it, right? Without expectations, because when we talk about things to other people, it's mainly for us, right? Those things is the confession part is for us to let it go, whether the other person takes it or not. Right? I had to do one of those talks with my father a few months ago. I had to let him know, you know, this is what it is. And whether you take accountability or not for it, it ain't up to me. Here it is. All right. It's not easy, but it's easier to let go. Trust me, it's a lot of weight off your shoulder, right? So let's go into give me Sirach 30 and 14. All right. Understand that cleaning your spirit, cleaning your bodies, right? We clean our bodies, we clean our spirits, we clean our minds, we clean our hearts is very crucial in this walk. You have to know what works for you. You have to do it daily, right? You have to sometimes you gotta, like I said, do the dirty work, the groundwork. All right. So let's go into Sirach 30 and 14.
Sirach chapter 30 and verse 14.
Right.
Better is the poor being sound and strong of constitution,
Yep.
than a rich man that is afflicted in his body.
Right. So read that one more time out slowly.
Better is the poor.
Better is the poor. Right.
Being sound and strong of constitution,
See, being sound and strong. Go ahead.
than a rich man that is afflicted in his body.
Than a rich man who's afflicted in his body. Why? Because what it says, health and good estate, right? Is worth more than gold. Health and good estate is worth better than gold. Not talking about no physical shape, right? That's obvious, right? Obviously, you know that you're gonna get to, you have to be in physical shape, but you can't ever be in physical shape if your cortisol keeps storing fat in your body, keeps causing you stress. Right? These are the small, like micro things that we don't see happening to ourselves. The stress that's holding us back. We go through enough. A day is enough. A day is enough. I don't know. Today I was like, I don't know what's going on. I think these Edomites is melting right before my eyes. Like it was kind of pissed me off because no one else is working. It's just me working. I'm like, what am I like? Is there something wrong with me? They like hiding under the trees. I'm the only one working. I was like, whatever. I guess the sun is actually melting them away.
Oh.
Yeah. So good health, right, is better than anything. And I'm talking about mental health, right? I'm talking about spiritual health, right? How's your spirit? Is your spirit clean? Right? It's the things that happened to you a long time ago still affecting you when you think about it. When was the last time you did think about it? When was the last time you actually thought about the things that made you mad that you could have never responded to or didn't know how to respond to? Right? Is it too late? Never too late, right? Proverbs 14:30.
This is Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 30. A sound heart is the life of the flesh.
A sound heart is the life of the flesh, right?
But envy the rottenness of the bones.
Right? Envy, right, could also be malice, right? Could be resentment, right? Those are the things that rot your bones, down to your bones. These are the things that rot your bone. But it says peace of mind makes the body healthy. Right? A peace of mind is no other way around it. No other way around it. When doctors come out, like Gabaryam, come out and say holding on to anger plus not knowing how to process it equals your body being at dis-ease. You can't say that this book is lying. You can't say that the Bible's wisdom covers it all. Right? Because that's practically what the doctor is saying. Right? That's just what it is at that point. There's no way around it. You have to understand the process, right? The process in which how does one thing plus another thing affect me in this way is really what you should jot down. How does, my father doing this to me when I was a young kid and abandoning me when I was a young kid affect me today? Plus what else? And this is actually, this is why I'm stressed. This is why I haven't learned how to deal with things, right? Why does my mother, the way she used to talk to me, made me so angry as a kid, and plus whatever I had going on now equals the stress that I have today. These are the things that we must examine, right? We must examine those things, I see this in is intentional wisdom. You have to know when to isolate with healthy intentions, meaning walking away from something that is causing you harm or you're overwhelmed. This includes work, etc.
Ganan. I want to say to your point earlier about cortisol and stress, your heart underneath the stress, and when you're really feeling the anger, but over much doing so, pumps out blood, and it's really working harder and forcing more out of you and putting more cortisol in your system overall, affecting every single other part of your body,
right?
And your decision making, your ways of thinking, so on and so forth. And
right.
I believe it was Ash or Bakwash that had put that in the chat earlier pertaining to that. So that's also something to factor in from reading the scripture.
Yeah. Even cops nowadays, what they do is they when they call it in, when they get a phone call, they always somehow doing the most, right? They always get those calls of somebody being under stress, right? And somebody that's under stress, they give off those signals, right? Like real tense, heavy breathing. These are the things that show you signs that there is just a high amount of cortisol being pumped into the body. Cortisol even affects, like when I see that cortisol, there are high levels of cortisol is normal. Let's just say that cortisol is a normal, hormone, just like we have dopamine and all that, or normal chemical that's in our bodies. It's a normal thing. What's abnormal is that your body pumps it and releases it at an abnormal rate. That's really what's the problem. That's what causes the fat storage, the high slow metabolism. Right. It's a needed hormone, right? It's needed for several things, like I mentioned earlier. It's just too much of it, right? Our people stress about our people. We're really stressed like people, right? We stress about bills. We stress about car issues, right? We stress about baby moms, baby dads. We stress about jobs. We stress about everything. Because we were really, when the scripture says we were destroyed for a lack of knowledge, we were really destroyed to a point where we didn't know how to even deal with ourselves, right? And that causes stress, right? Let's not even talk about inherent stress.
Yep. That's against
like you think just your life in a normal day-to-day basis is kind of stressful. Just imagine all the stress you inherited from your parents that you don't see. We don't see that with the naked eye. Only meditation, only self-reflection, right? Only going out and actually searching for resolutions. What motivated me was being a person who's dealt with anger, inspires me to learn how to resolve it.
Right.
It inspires me how to deal with it. I've always dealt with anger and I got tired of it. Yep. I didn't see that in the book, but I mean I'm pretty sure it depletes that vitamin B, right? Because like I said, cortisol really affects your hormonal system, your nervous system, your mind, your body, your spirit. Your whole body is under stress, and it's added this ease. And these are the things that have later effects like fat storage, ALS, cancers, a whole bunch. All right. So moving on, let's get give me Sirach 30 and 23. Oh, sorry.
This is Sirach chapter 30 and verse 23.
Yep.
Love thine own soul,
right,
and comfort thy heart,
right.
remove sorrow far from thee,
right?
for sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit therein.
Read that last part again.
And there is no profit therein.
No, for sorrow.
Sorrow hath killed many.
Right, sorrow has killed many. Sorrow has killed. There's many times. There's many stories where people or a married couple that's been married for 67 years. The husband died, and then the wife dies right after. That's sorrowness, right? That's that depression. Oh, that's another thing that repressed anger does. It makes you depressed. It makes you depressed because when you repress any kind of emotion in your body, you basically you're in self-denial, right? Then self-denial will lead you to have a disassociation with who you are as a person. And then that's basically somebody who's depressed, right? Somebody who doesn't know who they are, doesn't know where they're going, doesn't know what they want to do. That's somebody that's disassociated with their own emotions. Not having that natural affection that we're supposed to have as men and women, as human beings. We're supposed to understand our emotions and guide our emotions.
Right.
All right, read that from the top one more time.
Love thine own soul,
Yep.
and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee.
Remove sorrow far from thee. Remove that anger. Remove those incidents far from you. All right, go ahead.
For sorrow hath killed many.
Sorrow hath killed many. Many people have died behind that sorrow emotion, right? That down, depressed emotion, that stressed emotion, right? That the numbers, I didn't write them down in the book, but the number of people that died for having stress attacks that lead to cardiac arrest is insane. People getting, and sometimes it's people getting angry, like getting so damn angry that they get a cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
So how is somebody able? What type of life somebody should lead to get themselves out of those situations? Say somebody is foreclosed, about to get their home foreclosed. They have a rib, they have kids, or they have a woman that they're dealing with that's abusive, right? Or they have a husband that they're dealing with that they've been with for 7 years, right? And they have, a couple kids by them. He's abusive, verbally, mentally. You know what I'm saying? How are people are to deal with this situation, but lead a life, right? Where's the shit from?
Well, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're asking, how does somebody deal with it? Deal with the stress? Is that
in those dire situations?
Well, I think it's up to the individual, because in general, anybody would want to do the right thing at the right time. However, if it's a person, let's say, for example, somebody who consistently goes through something, that's when the chances are more higher that person wouldn't know how to actually process the situation. You know what I mean? Like, some people, it's, if it just happened or just started, but let's say, for example, a guy, he gets caught cheating, right? Then after he gets caught cheating, he gets divorced on it, they get divorced. After the divorce, the family breaks, right? And then it's after the family breaks, the finances, like, that's when the chances are higher that person won't probably process that for probably another 5 years, right?
So that's my point. So, in that situation, right? So this guy, let's say he cheated, right? He betrayed the trust of his woman.
Yep.
Now they're in a point where, let's put some years on. So now let's just say there was 8 years in their relationship. So they built something together for a long time. Now it's 7.
Right.
Right? They say divorce is like you dealing with the grief of somebody dying in your family.
Right.
So, right. So those are the type of emotions that's going on. So now they have they were financially together, stable. Now that's the part now.
Right.
So now they got to figure that out. That's added stress. Right.
Right.
So in that moment, because you said something that's key, the way they process that, right? They might not be in a place of clarity for years after that happened.
Right.
And so they could be going through roller coaster of emotions until they're actually at a place where they're stable financially, right? Emotionally, mentally. So like that's my point. Like in that situation, how would you give somebody advice, you know what I'm saying, to be able to come out of that, right? To see clearly, to get back on their pivot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because everybody online right now is probably dealing with some sort of emotions that they get over. They may go in and out of depression.
Right.
They may deal with anger, or they may have a grudgeful spirit, right? And grudging really make you sick, right? And grudging can lead to mental health issues.
It does.
So the point, you know, that's what I'm saying, right? How do you give? I was trying to help.
No, you good. I'll answer that with a scripture. Give me Sirach 28 and 28 and start at 3 and all the way down to 4.
This is Sirach chapter 28 and verse 3.
Right.
One man beareth hatred against another, and doth he seek pardon from the Lord.
See, I think that when these things that happen to us, like for instance, a situation with, you know, how does somebody get back on their feet? You got to let go of what actually happened to you, right? Because when you don't let it go, essentially, like what I explained at the beginning of class was, when you do not let it go, your body captures it and puts it in the subconscious realm, and when it holds it there, it keeps it there like a threat, right? When it's not dealt with properly or processed properly, your body subconsciously holds that one event inside your realm, inside your subconscious realm. Now, what happens when it's held there is that your body responds to it, and you're not even seeing it respond to it, but your body's responding to it by releasing cortisol. So now that your body has this one thing that happened to it, and it's holding on to it, and it's already beginning to release cortisol for it, right? And then every time probably something that happens that reminds you of it, it gets released even more, right? If you don't know how to process that, like if you don't know how to stop it from actually hurting, if you don't understand what the power of forgiveness is, if you don't understand that forgiveness is for yourself, that letting go is for yourself and not for an expectation or a result from anybody else, then how could you expect it from anyone else? How could you expect it from the Lord? Right? That's the reason why I brought the scripture out, is because you can bear hatred towards your brother. You could bear hatred towards situations. All right, but how could you seek? How could you kind of how could you sow and not reap? Not reap that. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't put the work. The results can't come into you, right? You have to put the work in, right? And forgiving it's like lifting heavy weights. It's that 400 plus squat that you're putting on your back, and you gotta you gotta push through it. So read that again from the top. I just want to finish that scripture just to answer the question. Go ahead.
Sirach chapter 28 and verse 3. One man beareth hatred against another,
right,
and doth he seek pardon from the Lord.
Go ahead.
He showeth no mercy to a man which is like himself,
right,
and doth he ask forgiveness of his own sins.
Right. So you're asking for forgiveness to somebody that's just like yourself. You're holding on to grudges, onto something that it mirrors you. But learning how to let it go, it's a process. But I think understanding how it blocks the blessing that the Most High is supposed to give us also, could help somebody get over things. You know what I mean? Because it blocks a lot of things, right? Even Christ told the person in Matthew, right? What he said? He said, leave your sacrifice at the altar, leave your gift at the altar, and go deal with your brother.
Right.
Showing that anger or being mad at your brother or being mad at your sister or being mad at your wife disrupts that alignment that you're supposed to have with the Most High. It disrupts a lot of things. Give me Sirach 28 and 3, please.
Read again.
Yep. Wait, I'll get it in the GMT. All right, it says, you cannot expect the Lord to pardon you while you're holding on a grudge against someone else. You yourself are a sinner, and if you won't forgive another person, you have no right to pray for the Lord. That you won't have a right that the Lord will forgive you for your sins. If you cannot get rid of your anger, right, this is verse 5, you have no hope of forgiveness. You are only a human being. Right? Verse 6, think about it. Someday you will die and your body will decay. So give up hate and live by the Lord's commandments. This is why I brought out at the beginning as well, that through his words is how we really cleanse our way. Through his words is how we learn forgiveness. Right? Learning how to forgive somebody because you understand that the Lord has forgiven you for your sins and all the things that you have done.
Right.
Right? Anything more? Anything else, Shamant?
No.
Gone.
I would just say one more thing. Is talk about the scripture where it says, if it be possible, be at peace with all men.
I got that down. Go ahead, Kaya.
So, like, when you're thinking about asking for forgiveness from the Most High, you have to be, when you at least first submit yourself to the Most High, when you at least first submit yourself to the Most High, you have to have peace of mind, clarity of what you're going to the Most High with.
Right.
If you have an off or a beef with another brother, you're not clear in mind.
Right.
Every day of life is going to be shaped around you trying to negotiate this beef and put yourself forward.
Right.
You take consideration to this beef, and it weighs heavily on a lot of things that you're doing, whether it's spiritual or physical or mental, right? So you're not coming to the Most High with the utmost clarity that you can have if you have a beef with your brother. But I just wanted to speak on that.
Right. Get that in Matthew's. Yeah. I think it's 7 and 20. No, it's not 7 and 20.
Matthew 5.
5 and 23. Yeah.
This is Matthew chapter 5 and verse 23.
Go ahead.
Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there remembers that thy brother hath aught against thee,
right,
leave there thy gift before the altar and go thy way. First, be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift.
Even YHWH taught us that the first thing you must do is process or deal with the situation. Heal the situation. Heal that beef that you have with your brother, right? Not only just your brother, right? No scriptures to say brother, right? But even with your significant other, right? How much does that actually affect us when we go to pray, or we go to or we try to go to class, we try to go to gym, and it's been a couple boxing rounds, or not actual boxing, but arguments in the home, right? And in the home, it never gets dealt with, right? You can bookmark it, right, Shamat?
Yeah.
You can bookmark things, but it got to be done in a healthy way, right?
They used to say in certain training, let's put this in a parking lot.
That sounds like some even like
it is.
Oh my God!
Let's put it in the parking lot.
Right? It's okay.
It's safe for later.
Right. it's okay to bookmark things, but that's got to be done in a healthy, like real healthy, organic way, right? Not no one person's like at 100, another person's at 50, right? So it says, read that again. I think this is really powerful, and it goes with what Kyle is saying, right? That it affects like your whole energy. You know what I mean? It affects your whole energy. Like you got some beef with somebody, like it feels like, you know, like some paranoia. Yeah, you can't even be your real self.
Imagine this, right? You in class and something rubbed you the wrong way. For example, me and Maya, right? Maya rubbed me the wrong way. Now I have a problem with Maya. Maya don't know it. Something funny, sitting right next to me. But something funny happened in class. I'm like, like you can't be yourself.
Yeah.
You can't be your authentic self, and you then won't perceive what's supposed to be yours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that goes into the blessing. Like you're going to the ultimate, or you're going to the Most High, asking for something, but like your head isn't clear because you still have that chip on your shoulder.
Right.
Now realizing like even your speech and what you're bringing to the Most High won't be as perfect as if you settle that. You know
right. Yeah. No.
So,
and that backs, like I said, I'm just paralleling to this book that I'm listening to, by Dr. Gabaryam, and he talks about how basically like how you were saying, you're not your real self. You like when you're holding on to anger, you kind of disassociate yourself from your real self. You know what I mean? Like that's really what the doc, like he basically explains. From that point, it causes your body so much stress. It's like it kind of feels like childish to even say that me holding on to anger causes my body to be at this ease, and then eventually causing it to have this ease. Causing it to have small increments of cortisol being pushed throughout my body that's causing for me to have fat storage or lack of sleep. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can't sleep when you got an alt with a brother.
that's the thing too. Like I don't want certain brothers to think everybody's feelings is valid.
Right.
You just gotta take care of it.
Right.
That's the point. You just take care of it.
Yep.
Don't come to me with unanswered shit, like unanswered things, expecting clarity.
Right.
Well, you can handle something wrong. It's all right that his or whatever happened rubbed me the wrong way. Now I gotta bring that to his attention and be at peace with what he is and who I am, and then we move forward. And that's how you grow the body. But like,
Right.
you can't just skip over that and just move forward.
Yeah. A lot of the times too.
There's chicken in the armor, especially if you create armor.
Yeah. A lot of the times, it's really the type of paradigm that we've constructed from being kids, and toxic shaming is a real thing. I remember when I was in 5th grade or 6th grade, I just moved from Chicago to Springfield. I didn't have no friends. I didn't know anybody like that. And some kid was trying to bully me in middle school. It was my first time in middle school. I had an older brother, but he's yeah. So I was getting bullied by this one kid, and this kid, I ain't gonna lie, he beat me up the first time. All right, he beat me up. Yeah, he beat me up after school. It was after school. It was down up in Forest Park, right in the back. So I took the L, right? But when I came back the next day in school, oh my God, I put a whooping on old boy. It was bad. Like, oh man, because it was a whooping. It was old school, you gotta say whooping. Right. So anyway, so where I'm going with the story is, the way that my grandmother shamed me was like, she did not at all tell me like, oh, you were bullied or whatever. No, she didn't say any of that. She just worried about how she looked going into school picking me up. Like she was more pissed about that she had to come to the school, that I was acting like in Spanish like a títere, or it's like a gangster. You know what I'm saying? Like a baja mundo, like somebody from the ghetto. Like literally, that's what my grandma was doing. She was just shaming me the whole time, and I just like a couple years, like probably last year, I recognized that that's the reason why I used to not even validate my own feelings, because she used to shame me so much for having feelings. For even like I was getting bullied, like, and I got beat up, and you didn't even know about it. You know what I'm saying? I had to stand on my own 2 feet, you know, as a young man, and put a whooping on old boy. You know, my higher doesn't like that. Nah, but you know what my grandma, you know, I love my grandma. There's some things that our parents like didn't understand that we understand, and it's a blessing. You know, it's a blessing to be able to look back and understand these things now. But she used to, you know, make me feel like my feelings weren't real. I wouldn't have a chance to be angry. What was that? You can show that one. Oh, is that a troll? You definitely gotta have a demon on you, a real demon when you go into the class. They were talking about like character building and emotional stability, and just come and talk shit. Like you gotta have a real demon. Probably. Anyway.
You doing something good,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's crazy that they do that. It's, damn, I don't know where to go next. I mean, I'll do Wisdom of Solomon 7.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 25.
Yep.
For she is the breath of the power of God,
Right.
and the pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty.
Right.
Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her.
Right. No defiled thing can obtain wisdom. Can't obtain all these things. It's always like daily. It's time to reflect. Daily, it's time to clean up house. Right. Daily, it's time to make more steps towards healing. Right. I'm not saying go from 0 to 100 to the finish line and heal. Right. Take those necessary steps. Right, Shema? It's steps. It's not just, you know, oh, I'm healed, I let it go. No, it's steps. It's steps. It's counsel. It's advice. Right. It's guidance. Right. It's trial and error. What works for me? What doesn't work for me?
Journaling.
Right. Journaling.
Sitting in quiet.
Yeah. Some people do self-journaling. I think that's pretty cool. You know what I'm talking about, self-journaling? Where they like put their phone on the camera or on the tripod and they'll journal, like they'll talk it out. Whatever works, right? Whatever works for you. Go ahead, Kyle.
I was gonna say too, once brothers start shaping, it's a sin, right? It's been defined as a sin by the scriptures, but I think once, as a human, right? We're all human, so we experience this emotion and this feeling, and we don't recognize or justify it as sin, right? So you hold a grudge, this is emotion, and it's a feeling that we should all, as a whole, start recognizing as a sin.
Yeah.
Same way as if you touch a corpse or touch something that's unclean, you have to remove yourself.
Right.
Same way you harbor a grudge against somebody, the moment you consider that feeling and that emotion and you like put that on your heart,
Yep.
you have to go fix that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like the more we start moving to the mentality of like, okay, I need to go fix that, or I need to go act on, like, what's the word? I forgot the word. It's such an art, but trying to pretty much recover this sin, right? you feeling that way is it's out of your control, but now you recognizing it is something that you need to go do. Like you can't like there's so often that we just let our feelings pass and go through our lives.
Having a lack of boundaries of our own feelings.
You know what I'm saying? You get angry, you get upset, you get sad, you get happy, but it just goes through the flow. The same way a brush can come by and stick, but you just let it pass by, not knowing that it's a hold on the spirit.
Right.
Because the next time you go around that, brother, like I said before, you're gonna go right back to that emotional, that feeling again. So we treat it as if we touch something clean, or as it's an actual sin, like it's meant to be. You can go take care of it.
Right.
So
this that's why I brought out 2 Corinthians 7:1, right? It says, "Let us cleanse ourselves from the filthiness of the flesh and of the spirit," right? Because you can still be defiled in the flesh and also in the spirit. I also think we have to understand, obviously we live in this superficial world, right, where everybody likes to look nice, right? Everybody likes to be outwardly clean, and I follow the laws, and I got my fringes, and I don't eat pork, but digging inwardly, right, going inwardly is dirty. It's dirty up. And that is your body is defiled, right? Your body is defiled. You're holding on to grudges. Your body is defiled, and it leaves, like the scripture says, it leaves the door open for Satan. It leaves the door open for Satan to come back with 7 more demons, right? And it's literally what the doctor is saying in this book. He's saying, like, once you have this one situation, one angry, like one situation that you hold on to that's grudgeful, once you start grudging, it opens the door for everything to start to go to hell. Literally, nervous system, hormonal.
It's down to the genes.
That's
it down to your child.
Yeah.
There's certain things that we harbored from our past, like enslavements, right?
Yep.
That we don't recognize, and our parents may not even acknowledge.
Yeah.
It got automatically passed down to us. That's why we're hardened to certain things, and we might even parlay or acknowledge certain behaviors. You know what I mean? Because we put those away, and it's better to our better code because of those traumas, or whether it's emotion or like what we're breaking down right now.
Right.
You know, it gets deep.
Yep.
Doesn't get addressed, it gets passed down.
Yep. Right to your kids. And then your kids are stressed, or they don't know how to deal with emotions. You know, it's crucial. The way I look at it, it's crucial. Especially anger and lust. I would say those 2 things are like really things you gotta like emergency deal with. You know, all emotions are, especially if they affect you in a negative way, are, you know, supposed to be dealt with, managed, right? And eventually you got to get to a point of healing. Got to get to a point. And you know, what really inspired me is because I got to say, Captain Shamak has been pushing and for everybody to be their best, to put their best foot forward, right? To be the most clean that you can be, the most, you know, the best you can be, the most, you know, the best you can be as a person, right? As a man and as a woman in the Most High, to be the best person that you can be. So we'll have to like dig deep and look inside ourselves and what are some things that we're holding on to? What are we hoarding in our spirit? You know, in our spirit, what are we hoarding? Right? You ever see a hoarder's house?
Yeah.
What are we holding? Why are we hoarding in our own spirits, in our own bodies?
Nasty.
Why haven't we gotten rid of some of these filthy old things?
They used to deal with it.
And they don't do nothing. They don't do anything for it. They don't do anything positive. There's nothing positive that goes on by holding on to a grudge. Nothing. What are you gonna do? Go take cancer? Hold on to cancer. I'm gonna get the actual number that he actually had. I was looking at my notes. For cancer patients. That's he just that was his cancer patient. Of course, my thing would be not backed up. 60% of that doctor alone, 60% of that cancer patients have experienced a death of a parent before the age of 17, or has dealt with a divorce in their lifetime. 60% of his cancer patients, either a divorce or a death. That's crazy.
And you're just like he's saying that's the reason why they talk cancer.
He's saying that when he's saying at the age of before the age of 17, he's saying that at a point, like let's say a parent dies, let's say a kid has, or a teenager, right, 15-year-old teenager who experienced the death of a parent, right? They basically don't know how to process that. So normal human behavior, right, or response to that would you be angry. You know, some people get mad. You know, you get angry. When that emotion or any emotion at that point is not dealt with and is just put like in the back burner, it festers. Yeah. So it affects every system of your body: hormonal, nervous, metabolism, digestive system, everything. Everything starts to get disrupted because that single event is basically held into your subconscious mind, and it's making your actual body release cortisol. Too much cortisol causes all those things to be affected, like your hormonal glands, all of that.
Right.
So then from that, if that's not dealt with, then now you're looking at cancer. You know, now you're looking at diabetes, right? Because some people manage their feelings by eating.
That.
You understand?
Oh.
So it's, you know, or cancers. Cancer is brought out by the shit that we eat. So it really throws the whole body off. Just one event, one thing can really do it to you. But just think about it like we don't recognize them right now because we're probably not thinking about it. But what things do we hold on in our own spirits that make us angry? You know, it's a process. There's a lot of things.
That's why it's good to meditate and pray in the morning, and like right when you're about to go to sleep, it's also good to reflect on your day.
Right.
To know, okay, did I do what I said I wasn't going to do? What would I written down? You know, how did I respond instead of reacting to that? What things did I let get to? Okay. Before I go to sleep, I'm gonna let these things go. A lot of people sleep on those days.
Right.
Right.
And another thing that he points out that I thought was really important is that when you do that, when you don't let things go or you put them in the back burner, what happens is you disconnect yourself from your real self. So he even goes to a point where he's like, how can a service dog know when somebody's having an anxiety attack, but that person itself don't know? You know what I mean? Like the brain doesn't even, you're so disconnected from your own self that you don't understand what's actually happening to your body. So you have a dog, a golden retriever telling you like, yo, you about to start fainting. You know what I'm saying? So like he after that he went into what medication is with the pharmaceuticals. That's what pharmaceuticals is they'll help heal your body, but they won't heal your mind. That's basically what it is. I actually worked with a kid who was 22 years old. His parents divorced not too long ago. From that divorce, right? He showed me pictures. He was in shape, working out, deadlifting like 400 pounds, 415 pounds.
Oh.
He looks like completely different. He's bald. He's bald. He's gained about, he said like 120 pounds. Right? And that's just from the situation from him divorcing. And then he goes to a therapist who prescribes him drugs. And those drugs affect his everyday life. Like he doesn't want to do anything. He has low energy, doesn't work out, he eats the wrong shit all the time. Right? He even talks in his sleep. That's how bad it is. Like, that goes to show you that there's really no real physician besides the Most High and His Son.
Oh.
There's no real physician. When you don't have that, you just have some doctors are like that. Some doctors are just more holistic. You're like, you don't really gotta go into, doing pharmaceuticals. Like this doctor that I'm reading about, he doesn't really even like pharmaceuticals. He's more like holistic. He's kind of more like be real with yourself and deal with things.
Right.
Straight to the thing. So this dissociative identity is linked to high cortisol. It's multiple personal. Oh, yep. That's true. All right, that's pretty much it. All I have for today, tonight. Anybody got questions, comments, class, or in the chat? Let us know.
Maybe get back. Hey, yo, come on, Ganan.
What'd you say?
So maybe get myself out.
All right, man, get back into it. Read them books, man. Get on the books, man. I'm telling you, there's a lot of information, a lot of wisdom in these books.
You can't just be one dimensional on the scriptures because everything corroborates
Right.
the scriptures.
Everything.
You gotta try to apply it. The psychology is a science. Same way you would do it, the same way gardening is a science, or the same way working out is a science. Psychology is a science that needs to be practiced. That's how you get confidence in doing what you need to do and expressing that extra part of your mental state.
Right.
You won't gain confidence if you don't open your mouth. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that you're going to let pass you by and just overtake you, and then you're going to have that grudging feeling of, damn, I should have acted, or damn, I should have did this. You know what? Next time I'm going to do, it's too late. It's too late.
Yep.
So it becomes it has to be something that you practice so you can correct it in the time of the moment when it actually happens. Because it might not be a brother. It might be somebody in the workplace that says something to you and you didn't recognize it. And you either let that pass and now they receive that's your character and they can do it multiple times now.
Right.
And that becomes a problem that you got to deal with later on. Or you can compartmentalize that with yourself and take it home and take it out on the rib or something like that. It becomes different. So you have to practice that.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Facts. Yeah, well, that book has that as well. I just started reading it. You know, really, when you do that injustice to yourself by holding on to things and not dealing with it, just become a person that has a lack of boundaries. And boundaries for so long has you know been looked at, like, especially in this time where it's like, do whatever you want, be whoever you want, and you know be at peace with you know, like, love each other. Like, they push that so much out here, you know, but it's really no hate at all if you think about it. Like, if somebody did something to you and you know, responded back and you tell them, hey, yo, listen, that door is not open for you. I don't know who you think you are. Or you know, you come off in a not in a rude way, but just more like stand up for yourself, right? That's basically what Kyle is saying, man. It's time to really stand up for yourself, but you need to stand up for yourself first within yourself, right, within your spirit, and then it'll be easier to do that outside. You'll have more confidence. As a man, you need to be confident, right? As a man, you shouldn't be letting nobody trying to, like, bully you. I hope that's not the case at all. And just nobody in this camp is getting bullied. All right, it's okay if you got bullied in the 6th grade like I did. I was fat and chubby, so it was easy to pick on me, and I didn't know nobody. So, but standing up for yourself, right? Standing up for your own spirit, right? Deal with your own things. Stand up and face those ugly things about you and get them dealt with.
So it doesn't fall back to the time of your lesson.
Right.
You hold on to it because that's fun. Deal with it.
I'll show you guys the book. It's called if you could put it, it's, I don't know if y'all can see my screen now. They can't see it, right? Can they see it? Did I give it to you? Yep. Yes, it's When the Body Says No, The Cost of Hidden Stress by Gabaryam. Good book. Right, Ganan. They don't. This world don't have no boundaries. No, they don't. Some people got some nerve out there. Panah, I'll put in the 133 chat. I'll do that now, just because I'll probably forget if I drive back. All right. If there's no more questions, I appreciate y'all coming out, tapping into class. I know it was a bit of a hassle with the technical difficulties, but we'll get it one day. I'm not gonna go to sleep holding on to anger on the computer for acting up, I guess. Hey yo, Shalom, like 8 times. That's crazy. All right, man. Love y'all. I hope y'all took something from this class and y'all start getting to the steps of healing. Anybody that's dealing with anger, definitely reach out to me or anybody that you trust or anybody you feel safe with. I'm pretty sure I can almost guarantee you 100% that there's somebody safe that you can speak to in this camp that's going to guide you in the right direction. Right? This is the safety of our people right here. This is the sanctuary of our people. All right.
Majim upon you, Makudam. This is Psalm chapter 119. This says, My young, oh, how I love thy law. It is my meditation all the day. Though through thy commandments has made me wiser than mine enemies, for they are ever with me. I have more understanding than all my teachers, for thy testimonies are my meditation. I understand more than the ancients, because I keep thy precepts. I have refrained my feet from every evil way, that I might keep thy word. I have not departed from thy judgments, for thou hast taught me. How sweet are thy words unto my taste, yea, sweeter than my mouth. Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. In the name of Yahweh, Bahasham, YHWH, the water of Yad, Amen.
Watch Shabbat. Watch Barak.
Yahweh, Bahasham, YHWH,
Yahweh, Shemi, Ansad, Rakatan.